Because all it took is for me to be in a rough situation for me to realize, oh no, never do you ever. I don't care if it's the middle of the day going to a man's place. You want to come upstairs and talk? We could talk right here. Out front. Let's sit down right here on the stoop. We could talk right here on the stoop. Oh, my life, if I don't say it, then y'all won't do it. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, tip your favorite narrator on Cash App at $NAROB on YouTube. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about Miss Mavis Staples. Pop Staples had first heard Martin Luther King speak on the radio in the 1950s and was moved by what he heard. A few years later, he would finally meet the man who was leading the march towards racial equality, a concept that once seemed absurdly out of reach when Pops was growing up on Dockery Farms in Mississippi. Pops called King to arrange a meeting in 1963 and was delighted to receive an invitation from the minister to attend an 11 a.m. Sunday service at the Dexter Avenue Church in Montgomery, where King was pastor. The Staples were in the midst of another tour scheduled to play a show in Montgomery that same weekend. When they arrived at the church, King's wife, Coretta, was singing in the choir while cradling their newborn, Bernice. During the service, King formally welcomed Pops and his children to his church. King was familiar with the Staples singers, and he saw a reflection of his values not only in the music the Staples performed, but in the way Pops in particular spoke and carried himself. It was hardly a stretch for the group to embrace the new possibility for African American life that King outlined in his words and actions. Their music was being embraced by the emerging folk and folk rock movements, and they were endorsed by Dylan, Johnny Cash, Joan Baez, and the founders of the Newport Folk Festival. Pops, in turn, was open enough to let these new experiences and influences seep into the Staples singers' music for the Riverside label. This song, This Little Light of Mine, was particularly significant. Composed as a childish song during the era when Pops Staples was born, its simplicity and biblical allusions made it an endlessly malleable part of Black and folk culture for decades. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Maybe these kids will learn how to act if they start singing This Little Light of Mine again. I don't have any sense of the civil rights movement existing without the singing we did in marches, mass meetings, and in jail. Bernice Johnson, later Bernice Johnson Reagan, one of the original freedom singers, said decades later in an NPR radio interview, "There is no separation. If we were there, then we sang." On December 12, 1964, the Staples family was in Shreveport preparing for a show when they heard the news that their childhood friend, Sam Cooke, had been killed the previous night at a Los Angeles hotel. According to conflicting reports, Cooke was searching for a woman who had accompanied him in the hotel and got into a dispute with the hotel manager, who shot him in the middle of an argument that turned physically violent. Cooke was found wearing only a sports jacket and shoes in the manager's office home. He was 33 years old at the height of his fame. Listen, I don't know. They say it's so many conspiracies with that situation. I'm going to tell you what I think, okay? And I'm going to say what I feel is the truth about Sam Cooke's death. The fact is, Sam Cooke was a married man with children, with, the Barbara Cooke, okay, who eventually started hunching on the Bobby Womack because she was sick and tired of him cheating on her. So she said, I know what to do, Ninja. I'm going to hunt your protege. Now that's a get back, but it was a psycho-boo-boo on her because Bobby Womack was hunting on Sam Cookie's wife and Sam Cookie's daughter. But let's pick that up and put that over there. Okay. I believe he was out. A young woman approached him. Hey, Sammy Cookie, I'm going home with you tonight. Sammy Cookie said, okay. The facts remain this. I am not victim shaming. But like I always say, if you're not going to give a man the vagina, it is no reason for you to be at his hotel. I said this with the Mikey Tyson, and I'm going to say this with the Sammy Cookie. I'm not saying that she deserved to be raped, and we'll get there later. What I'm saying is, what the heck do you think you and Sammy Cookie fitting to do at his hotel? Play spades? No, ma'am. It's only 2 of you there. You need 4 people at the minimum to play spades. What I believe is that Sam Cookie got her to the hotel room. Hey, baby, what's poppin'? Let's get busy. He took his clothes off, or at least the bottom half of his clothes. He was like, I'm Sammy Cookie. Do you want to, say hello to what's downstairs? This is Sammy Cookie, too, at the bottom half. And the girl was like, well, I thought we was going to play spades. And Sam was like, no, I'm not going to play spades with you. And then the girl said, well, this must be transactional. This is going to be a transactional situation because that's what I would do. Well, let me take it back. I would never go to a man's place thinking that we just going to play spades. Never. Because I have put myself in situations before that I've learned from that taught me you don't go to a man's nothing unless you ready to hunch. Y'all not going to talk. Y'all not going to read books. Y'all not going to play spades. You're not going to play. What's that? I forget that. The game where you would spin and you would put your hand, foot, or whatever, knee, elbow on a color. I forget the name of that game. Y'all not finna play that game, okay? What's the name of that game? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It was an old game from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s where it was like a mat on the floor with all these different colors. And then it would say hand blue, foot yellow. She 22. Maybe at 22, she ain't never been great before and she don't know what a situation is like when you go to a man's room. But she learned that day. I'm pretty sure she don't put herself in situations like that again. Because all it took is for me to be in a rough situation for me to realize, oh no, never. Do you ever? I don't care if it's the middle of the day going to a man's place. You want to come upstairs and talk? We could talk right here. Out front. Let's sit down right here on the stoop. We could talk right here on the stoop. The young lady realizes that it's not fitting to be the situation that she thought it was going to be. She turns it into a transactional. You want this coochie? You gonna pay for this coochie? No, I ain't gonna pay for this coochie. I'm Sammy Cooke. She grabs his pants with the wallet in the pants and runs out the door. What the fuck are you doing? Grabbing pants, and you know his wallet is in his pants, girl. What are you doing, girl? Why would you do that? You gotta take a second, like that second or two or minute or two that you took to grab his pants and his wallet. Your ass could have shot out the door. You was trying to rob his ass, and now it goes from him getting the vagina to something transactional, and now you done robbed his ass. I'm not denying the fact that he probably was drunk. He probably was stone drunk. He runs to the lady house, the hotel manager / apartment. Sammy Cooke runs to the hotel manager. I don't know why he ended up at her place. I don't know why. At the hotel manager office / apartment. I have no idea what took him there. Why didn't he go to the next door neighbor house? Why didn't he go to the next room and say, you got that bitch in there? How did he know to go straight to her? And the lady felt, as she put it, scared for her life. I don't doubt that. In no way do I doubt that. Okay? She felt afraid for her life. She felt afraid for the lady, herself, and I guess the other people in the hotel. My question is, because this was a black woman, her last name was Franklin. I don't have no problems with you, Franklin lady. Okay. My question is, if it was a white man and you being a black woman, would you have still shot him? Now they didn't put all these different conspiracies on it, saying that the Los Angeles Police Department had something to do with covering up the murder. I don't know. We don't know. Okay. What I believe is that woman shot Sammy Cooke because she felt afraid for her life, but she know goddamn well that if that was a white man, she would have thought twice. Oh no, a black woman can't kill a white man. If I kill this white man, God. That's what I believe. Cooke's body was taken to a funeral home run by Mavis's father-in-law, A.R. Leak, at 7838 Cottage Grove in Chicago's South Side. A huge crowd swarmed around the mortuary and was so tightly bunched that it accidentally broke a plate glass window. For the December 17th funeral at Tabernacle Baptist Church on 41st and Indiana, 2,000 people overflowed the service, and the thousands more milled in freezing temperatures outside, shutting down the streets. The Staples singers offered up the hymn, "The Old Rugged Cross," for their old friend. Mavis began to cry almost as soon as she opened her mouth to sing. Outside, a devastated Leroy Purvis and Sam Cooke used to have shenanigans together. Okay, they were just young, and they were being young together. Outside, a devastated Leroy Croom tried to make his way through the crowd into the church to join his group, the Soul Stirrers, in paying tribute to their former lead vocalist. My mind was gone, Croom says. I had to park a few blocks away from the church. There were so many people in the street. A policeman saw me and said, "Croom, you're supposed to be inside." He took my arm and dragged me through the crowd. He got me inside. We sang His Precious Lord, a song Croom had written for the Soul Stirrers. I can only remember standing on the stage and looking down on Sam's casket. The casket was open, and I think I might have been in shock seeing him that way. I couldn't see anything else. Like Pop Staples, Sam Cooke was stunned upon first hearing Bob Dylan's "Blowing in the Wind." Though it was not explicitly about civil rights, the song resonated with many African Americans. How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? They were outcasts in their own country, and a white kid from the Midwest sang like he knew exactly what that meant and how it felt. In response, Cooke wrote and recorded "A Change Is Gonna Come." It captured the frustration so many African Americans felt as they struggled to stand as equals among their fellow citizens. The song's narrator pleads with his brother for help, but he winds up knocking me back down to my knees. Curtis Mayfield, who had sought out Pop Staples' advice when his group The Impressions was first signed to VJ in the late 1950s, led the way. The Impressions' Keep On Pushing top 10 hit in 1964 and People Get Ready top 20 in 1965 became synonymous with the movement. We were young and didn't know these songs would have that effect, says Fred Cash, who joined The Impressions in the 1950s and has carried on their legacy ever since. You realize that songs like Keep On Pushing were a winner and choice of colors inspired people. I was talking to Andy Young, civil rights activist and former congressman, and he told me how they would sing Amen and keep on pushing during the freedom marches. It gave them inspiration to keep on doing what they were doing. I can dig it. A 5-day march from Selma brought 25,000 protesters to the Capitol steps in Montgomery on March 25th, where King spoke. The end we seek is a society at peace with itself, a society that can live with its conscience, he said. And that will be a day not of the white man, not of the black man. That will be the day of a man as a man. The tumultuous month sent Pop's Staples to his guitar, crafting the chords, melody, and lyrics for one of the era's most profound songs, Freedom Highway. If I don't say it, then y'all won't do it. Please tune in tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for part 10. Now remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves, you babies, y'all have a good one. Peace.